This opportunity obviously takes tremendous effort by the leaders in the team that put it together, not only in researching the case studies, raising the funds, keeping everyone moving and everything on track, but certainly just dealing with any issues that come up during the course of the event. I'd like to introduce that team right now. They are three of the most respected real estate veterans in the industry, three gentlemen I've looked up to for a long time, Mr. Charlie Abdi, Mr. Chris Pascal, and Mr. Gary Katz.
So about eight years ago, Charlie and Gary and I were sitting around trying to figure out how we were going to do more and try some new events out. And we had heard about this event up in the Bay Area, so we went up there and checked it out. They do it in LA, they do it in Atlanta, they do it amongst other chapters around the country. And some of these events had 300, 400, 500 people at them, and we're looking at each other going, how are we going to do this? So the first event, 6 years ago, we had 50. We did it in a large conference room, thanks to Alexandria, who provided the space for us. And 6 years later, we're here at the Hall of Champions. We have over 400 people, and we'd like to say thank you to all of you for making this event just a gigantic success. Our focus has always been to make it about the students. And we basically told the students that this is a job interview for them. There's going to be several hundred industry professionals out there that are going to watch them perform a case study. The feedback we've received over the years from the students has been nothing short of spectacular. Some of the students have mentioned it's the best exercise they performed while they were in school, so that makes us feel really good about it. So please indulge them as they speak to you today. The package that the schools received describes the exercise as a business case study real estate competition on the highest and best use for a real proposed site in San Diego County. Potential issues to be addressed may include financing, transit-oriented issues, sustainability, traffic, community impact, feasibility, and investment returns. And this year, with the help of the Port of San Diego, we chose an iconic gateway site in San Diego, Seaport Village. We'd like to acknowledge Marshall Merrifield and his team from the Port for jumping on board with us in this endeavor and allowing us access to his staff and his information. As many of you know, the Seaport Village property is in play, and the Port is looking for development ideas, so this is as real world as it gets for this type of a project. This year, in addition to the teams from San Diego State University, University of California, San Diego, and University of San Diego, we invited the New School of Architecture to be a part of the competition, and New School students were assigned to each team to help them design the site. We'd like to recognize Mike Stepner, who's here today as the leader at the New School. Mike, thank you for bringing your group into the fold. We appreciate you being a part of it. I'd like to also acknowledge some other people that are very important to this process, namely this panel of judges in front of you here. John Alderson from Westfield, Mike McNerney from Low Enterprises, Dan Feldman from Sunroad, Paul Buss from Oliver McMillan, Jim Nigro from U.S. Bank, Chris Wood of the Ryan Companies, Kevin Heinley of Gensler, and Kelly Modine of Murphy Construction. Thank you, judges, for your time and effort in this endeavor. We'd also like to thank our industry consultants who are part of the group. These people were available to the students if they had questions regarding their area of focus. Linda Menashe with Chicago Title on title searches, Mike Leake with Shepard Mullen for legal analysis, Dave Davis with DF Davis appraisal, Mark McGovern of CBRE for financing, and most importantly, we'd like to recognize our architect friends who've helped out since day one this year, people from LPA, Carrier Johnson, and Ware Malcolm were all part of the process. We thank you for your efforts. Give these folks a round of applause, please. As Nelson mentioned, we contribute to our scholarship fund through this event. With all of you here, we are able to raise quite a bit of money, and we're able to give 2 scholarships to each school each year, so that's really great. We did not envision that in the beginning, so it's really proud that we can do that. We'd really like to especially thank our master level sponsors today, Dennis Cruzan of Cruzan, Don Ankeny of Westcor, and Chris Wood of the Ryan Companies, who are our master level sponsors and help underwrite this event. So gentlemen, thank you very much. So there's 3 parts to this event. You're going to see the third and final part. The students are given the case, and they research it, and they are required to provide a 15-page report, not including 5 pages of pretty pictures, to the judging panel that they read, understand, and absorb. This includes site plans and financial analysis and research and all the other things that go into a development proposal. They then do a 30-minute question and answer period with the judges. This occurred yesterday afternoon at the NAIOP offices, where the judges ask them questions about their proposals, get clarification on things they don't understand, give advice on certain parts to help the students understand what really happens. It's kind of an investment committee, if you will. And then the third and most exciting part of the exercise is what goes on today, and that's the oral presentations from the students in front of you folks. I don't know about you, but when I was 20 or 21 or 22 years old, the idea of speaking in front of 400 industry professionals would have scared me immensely. I think you're going to find these students are extremely well skilled in oral presentations and very polished, and I'm looking forward to their presentations today. So students, good luck. What will happen after that, the judges will take off and sequester, accumulate their points, decide who wins. They'll have some debate, kind of like a jury, I guess. And while that's going on, the students can ask each other one question each about their proposals. You know, how did you come up with this? Why didn't you pay attention to that? Did you forget this? Try and, position themselves, I guess you could say. After that's over, if the judges haven't returned by then, the audience will have a chance to ask questions of the students, similar to what they'll ask each other. So that's the way things are going to unfold. When the judges come back, there'll be a decision. The couple get awarded. Then we can do what NAIOP does well, and that's have a party. So thank you for being here. Please indulge our students. I guess I should introduce the first team. Presenting first, the University of California, San Diego.
Pass some stuff around first, and I'll get the mic. Test. All right. Hello? Everyone hear me? Cool. All right.
Hello?
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 Hello? This one's off. Can I just take this off and use it? All right. It says it's on.
Test.
All right, we'll just use one. It's okay. We'll just use one. Thank you. All right. Whoa. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Albert, and this is Christina, Michelle, Jenny, and Nick, and we are Trident Associates. We are pleased to present our redeveloped proposal for Harbor Light, called Harbor Light at Seaport, which has a leveraged IRR of 19.6%, an equity multiple of 3.2, and an average cash-on-cash over a 10-year hold of 16%. Now, Harbor Light at Seaport is a transformation defined by 3 key words: design, mobility, and innovation. It's a transformation of not only Seaport Village, but also San Diego and the blue economy as a whole. Now you may be wondering what the heck blue economy is. It can range anything from aquaculture to marine robotics, from fishing to very large floating platforms. And San Diego is poised to become the leader in this technology. In order for the team to capture this immense amount of potential that Seaport Village has to offer, we conducted a detailed strength, weakness, and opportunity and threat assessment, also known as a SWOT analysis. From this, we determined that within a 15-minute walk, you were able to experience some of San Diego's top destinations, such as the USS Midway Museum, the Gaslamp Corridor, and the Convention Center. Furthermore, it offers one of the most beautiful bayfront views San Diego has to offer. As I mentioned earlier, the team conducted a SWOT analysis of both the site and the market conditions. From this, we determined that there were 7 critical success factors that we deemed absolutely necessary for a successful development of this site. And Christina's here to tell you more about it.
Our first critical success factor is to create a site that caters to both locals and tourists alike. Second, we want to link green spaces to complete the port's vision for a green necklace. Third is to have distinct iconic architecture and public art along the waterfront. Fourth is to create a blue tech incubator and foster innovation. Fifth is to create education opportunities in art, history, sustainability, and science. Sixth is to improve transportation circulation. And seventh is to stress the site's historic relevancy by drawing upon the unique fishing history and incorporating the historic carousel. These 7 critical success factors, the SWOT analysis that Albert previously mentioned, along with keeping in mind the port's vision and the public good, is how we determined the development on our site. Now let's take a look at the site. Harbor Light has 3 distinct areas. It has the lighthouse, comprised of the 40-story, 900-room hotel, Seaport Square, that has 65,000 square feet of retail, 60,000 square feet of restaurant, and 150,000 square feet of office space. And finally, at the tip, we have the Fisherman's Market, that is 65,000 square feet of open market space. Now, Michelle will go over our 6 guiding principles.
Thank you, Christina. So Harbor Light consists of 6 guiding principles. The first one that we emphasized was iconic design. So our architecture, public spaces, and greenscape all reflect our iconic design. Our second one was blue tech industries. So we wanted to promote a space where blue tech and maritime industries can thrive. Our third guiding principle was a green necklace. We wanted to incorporate the port's vision of sustainability and connectivity within our site. The fourth highlight was the Fisherman's Market. So in order to promote a space for local fishermen and aquaculture to thrive. The fifth guiding principle we focused on was view corridors. This allows accessibility and visibility on our site. The last and final highlight which we emphasized was off-site improvement. This allows visitors to safely access our site as well as easily access it. Now, with these 6 guiding principles in mind, let's begin our tour of Harbor Light. The tour will begin at the lighthouse. Approaching our site from across the bay, Coronado Island, Harbor Light is unique that it can be accessed from both water and land. Approaching our northern end, visitors will be greeted by our northern gateway, which is the Seaport Ferry Terminal. Also incorporated on our northern portion is a water taxi station, and visitors are also able to load or park their personal boats on site as well. Right above our site, we have the Ryoko Park, which we wanted to incorporate into our site. And we did this by having a ground level green plaza in our hotel. So Ryoko Park is therefore incorporated through this plaza. We foresee that the market for hotels in San Diego will increase due to factors such as the new development of our site, as well as the expansion of the convention center. The lighthouse is iconic and symbolic for San Diego and its bay for the future. And Jenny will now continue our tour with the brewery.
We have now come to the second part of our site, the bow. When you first enter in Harbor Light at Seaport, you are walking down one of our main view corridor, the Pacific Gateway part, where you can meander through our park, walk up to those hills, and experience a different perspective of the ocean view. On the right, we have the Bow Brewery, and right next to it is the Bow Brewery tasting room in a rehabilitated fishing trawler. Walking down the view corridor, it then expands into the world-class dog park by the sea. At Harbor Light, we do not only design for people, we value your beloved pets as well. We have a maritime way of 80 feet wide boardwalk containing bike lane, beautiful landscape, public art, and also steps that allow you to experience the water like you have never before. The bow has a unique architecture. The tip of the roof is sharp and edgy, as if it were the tip of the ship sailing towards the horizon to the future of San Diego. Christina will now guide you from the headquarters to Seaport Square.
Seaport Square is comprised of office and retail space. It also incorporates a lot of open space for visitors to utilize as well. According to 2015 market reports from Cushman & Wakefield and CBRE, there is a demand for Class A office space and Class A retail space, which we provide. Perhaps the most exciting feature of our site is the Blue Tech Incubator. Blue Tech, we have 150,000 square feet of office space designated for Blue Tech and maritime-related companies. Blue Tech is one of the fastest growing industries and is the largest innovation cluster in San Diego. According to the Maritime Industry Report, there is a need to create a Blue Tech incubation space, which our site provides. We envision Harbor Light as being the largest, greatest maritime technology center in the world. Now let's start our tour of Seaport Square. Entering the site from the headquarters, your first sight is the Harbor Light sign. The second floor of these buildings will be the Maritime Creative Office space, and the first floor will be retail and restaurant space to activate the space. As you can see, there's also a lot of open space for visitors to utilize. What is unique about our site is that all of the roofs are green roofs. Visitors can also utilize these roofs. They can lounge upon them, but most of all, they are able to have a beautiful view of the bay from a higher vantage point. As you can see, the view is pretty spectacular. Moving on, we have secured a letter of intent from the Cohen Restaurant Group, which will take up 7,000 square feet of this building here, of the first floor of this building and the patio. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking the theme of this restaurant is going to be seafood related. Moving on, we have our 20,000 square foot expo hall. This will be the hub of our Blue Tech Incubator, where they can innovate, collaborate, and showcase their work to the public. We have secured a letter of intent from the U.S. Coast Guard, which they will take up 50,000 square feet of the top floor of this building. We have also secured a letter of intent from Scripps Institution of Oceanography, which will take up 50,000 square feet of this building. We've also talked to the Maritime Alliance, and they've agreed to partner with us on this development, where they also have 30,000 square feet of this upcoming building. So we end our tour of Seaport Square back at the Expo Hall because this is the center, this is the hub of our Blue Tech Incubator, where these Blue Tech startup companies can innovate, collaborate, showcase the work to the public, and begin to thrive in the blue economy. Now Michelle will begin our tour of the Fisherman's Market.
The last portion of our tour will take you through the Fisherman's Market. Approaching our site from West Harbor Drive, visitors will turn down Kettner Boulevard, which acts as another main view corridor on our site. It is lined with an oasis of trees to greet visitors to our site, and it leads you down to the bayfront. Approaching on the left, we have the relocated Seaport Village Historic Carousel, which we have included in our market plaza. The Fisherman's Market was inspired by the Tuna Harbor Dockside Market, and we wanted to accommodate local fishermen as well as aquaculture to continuously develop for the future of San Diego. Visitors are able to access the deck level and enjoy all that the San Diego has to offer, be it the food, the culture, as well as the magnificent views of the bay. Jenny will now walk you through our transportation development plan.
Thank you. At Harbor Light, we value pedestrian connectivity. That's why we have integrated Sangda's transportation demand management strategy into our design. To create a more comprehensive transportation development. We want to provide you with different travel options, whether it's by sea or by land. Currently, we have 4 Decobite stations around the area, and in the future, we are to expand more Decobite stations near and on our site. We want to utilize this public resource and expand and promote them at Harbor Light. We also integrated a bike route on Maritime Way, connecting the regional bikeway from Harbor Light to the rest of San Diego. If you don't know how to bike, you can choose to travel by your private yacht, or perhaps simply take the water taxi or the ferry. We have promoted new ferry routes from Harbor Light to the nearby destinations for easy, fun, and entertaining travel. We have some low-cost travel options, and now we offer you some no-cost travel option. There are 2 types of free shuttle on site. Number 1 is the hotel shuttle, and the other is the San Diego Free Ride. We have partnered up with San Diego Free Ride, and they are to include our sign into their coverage area, naming us one of the hot and sexy destinations in downtown San Diego. We understand the importance of pedestrian safety. That's why we have promoted a road diet plan on West Harbor Drive, reducing the travel length from 3 to 2. With the extra spaces, we'll add in bike lane and also parklet. This transformation will not only slow down traffic, but will also bring pedestrians closer and safer crossing from the Seaport Village trolley station. If you are desperate in driving, I guess we have also an underground parking structure. We have a 2-level underground parking structure with 1,900 parking spaces. But remember, we offer you so many different travel options. We invite you to come to our site to walk, to bike, to sail, and not to drive. Now, back to Albert.
Thank you, Jenny. So before we dive into the numbers, I want to emphasize that this development is a win-win-win for everyone. It's a win for the community with its beautiful view corridors and public open space. It's a win for the port because we really emphasize the public trust doctrine and making the waterfront a working waterfront. It's also a win for the port, as you'll see later on. But it's also a win for the developer, as I mentioned earlier, with our high financial returns. So, well, let's dive into the numbers. So we have a leveraged IRR of 19.6%, an average cash on cash of 16% over a 10-year hold, and most importantly, we have a port ground lease payment of $18 million per year. Now, we understand that the port has not relied on taxpayer money since the 1970s, and we're here to help the port realize its potential with our increase in ground lease payment. For example, this is 7 times more than what the port currently sees with Seaport Village. Next, we'll go into our construction numbers. So, first we're going to have an equity infusion of $230 million, followed by a cumulative loan draw of 45% at $171 million. In year 2, this loan draw would increase to 75%, and in year 3 to 100% with another $9 million of equity infusion. Now, the team took all the NOIs, also known as the net operating incomes, and we created a program in MATLAB that did a wide range of sensitivity analyses. That disappeared. That's back here again. Well, there it is. Well, wide range of sensitivity analyses. As you can see from this graph, this is one of the many sensitivity analyses, and from this graph, you can see that from a cap rate of 5.5% to a cap rate of 8%, our project still yields higher financial returns. For instance, at a 5.5% cap rate, we have a leveraged IRR of 22%, and at a 8% cap rate, we have a leveraged IRR of 18%. The team did this in order to understand the systemic risk and market volatility associated with any large-scale development. And we wanted to show that despite any wide ranges of cap rates, this development would still make sense. Now, although our story ends here, this is but the first chapter of San Diego's blue tech revolution. Our vision is for Harbor Light to be the physical representation of San Diego's future. It is a transformation of not only Seaport Village, but also San Diego as a whole. And it will position San Diego as the global leader in the maritime economy. Now, I'd like to thank LPA for doing the hotel renderings that you saw today, and I'd like to thank the team, Tran Associates, for their immense amount of hard work in creating the videos and the renderings that you saw today. And we'd like to thank you all for coming today to listen to our presentation, and we hope to see you at Harbor Light.
How about that for enthusiasm, huh? Hard work? We got a 10-second call for San Diego State. Before we do that, want to once again just reach out to both Karen and her trusty assistant, Courtney Moore, for putting this whole facility together. They do such a great job for NAIOP, and we're just so blessed to have her. So how about a round of applause for Karen and Courtney? The Aztecs from San Diego State are up.
Bear with us, please. We're just going to get our slides set up. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marco Vaticano. To my side, we have Scott Heaviside, Marissa Merchant, Andrew Rosencrans, and Dominic Chains. We're Team San Diego State, and we're excited here to explain the overview of our redevelopment proposal. We're naming our proposal Bayside Point. Before we dive into the actual numbers in our project, let's give you a little bit of a background. So the 14-acre point tip on the waterfront in downtown San Diego has been zoned by the Port of San Diego to approve the following uses: hotel, retail, restaurant, event center, office, and public space. So our project overview, we have a 350-key hotel, 30,000 square foot space of event center, multiple entertainment venues, a combined 135,000 square foot restaurant and retail mix, and over 6 acres of public space. We'd like to highlight, while it's a little bit hard to see the numbers, that green area on that pie chart is 43% of our site dedicated towards public open space. So why Bayside Point, and why San Diego State's proposal? Well, we feel that we have achieved synergies between market analysis, development strategy, practical financing, and an implementation of brand positioning. As the site stands right now, it is only popular with the tourist industry, and we wanted to bring and integrate the community and visitors alike into our site. So let's run through a financial snapshot. Our project is going to cost a projected $334.7 million, while providing a residual land value upon stabilization of $142.5 million. Our stabilized port rent at year 6 will be $12.8 million in ground lease payments, with 3% annualized increases thereafter. Now, all of this is going to achieve a 35% leveraged IRR for our entire project. I'm now going to take it over to Scott Heaviside, who's going to talk about site overview.
All right, so here is our site. It's 14 acres of waterfront property that is just south of Ruco Park, the old police headquarters, and just west of the Hyatt and Marriott hotels. There are 3 main view corridors that we had to keep in mind when developing this site: Pacific Highway, Kettner Boulevard, and Hyatt. The port also decided to have our site act as a green belt between the north and south Embarcaderos. So with that in mind, we decided to have our retail spaces have a low profile. Our retail structures are 6 buildings ranging between 10,000 and 20,000 square feet and are strategically located to increase foot traffic as well as to create green plazas throughout the site. With the outdated building design on the site now, we are going to implement new architecture that's going to be modern and contemporary to flow with the site. Our parking consists of 3 structures that are strategically placed off the water and not obstructing any viewpoints. We'll dive deeper into the parking later on in the presentation as well. Our site also hosts a Bayside Hotel, which is 18 stories tall, which includes a 4-structure podium parking, as well as it'll enhance the skyline of San Diego and have 360-degree views of the bay and the city. Our site also has many entertainment venues, such as a museum, an observation wheel, and many beer and wine gardens throughout the site. The hotel is going to include a rooftop bar and lounge, pool deck, as well as conference space. The wheel is going to act as a visual draw to help get people to come to our site, as well as be an addition to the city of San Diego. As mentioned before, the port wants the site to act as a greenbelt connecting the north and south Embarcaderos, and also has asked us to provide as much green and open space as we possibly can. We took both those ideas we took both those ideals and we created 6 acres of open public space through our site. We're implementing a small amphitheater, a viewing lawn, as well as many water features throughout the site to help create synergy between the bay. Now let's talk about sustainability. The Coastal Commission just recently said we need to add 5 feet of grade to our site for global warming issues, as well as the port saying that we have to have many spaces for green open spaces. So we took that as a no-brainer to go for LEED certifications. Our buildings are going for LEED certification of a gold level, and they're going to implement things such as solar panels, green roof, and glass facades to allow for natural lighting. Also, the benefits outweigh the cost, because there's an upfront cost. because they're going to have a lower operation expense over the time of the buildings, as well as have a small environmental impact. Now let's talk about construction phasing. Our construction is going to last 3 years, starting January 1st, 2018, and go till January 1st, 2021. The Chesapeake Fish Company's lease ends September 30th, 2018, which made us think about how to phase out the site. We've decided to phase it out in 2 phases, with phase 1 starting January 1st, 2018, and going 2 years and ending January 1st, 2020. This allows for 75% of the site to be utilized while we're finishing construction on phase 2, which is the hotel, podium parking, and some retail. And that will end December 31st, 2020. And now we're going to discuss the target market.
Thank you. Test. Tourism is the third largest. Tourism is the third largest industry in San Diego and provides jobs to 181,000 local San Diegans. San Diego has recently been ranked the #1 travel destination in the United States. Over 34.4 million visitors come to San Diego each year, and 50% of these visitors request overnight accommodations. Last year, the city of San Diego received $246 million in TOT and TMD tax assessments. Our proposed hotel will bring the city additional tax revenues of around $50 million over its 10-year holding period. Bayside Point is surrounded by large tourist attractions as well. In the north, the USS Midway attracts over 1 million visitors per year. And in the southeast, the San Diego Convention Center hosts nearly 1 million guests per year. We branded this site Bayside Point due to its natural geography of being located on a point of downtown's waterfront. The development's central location also allows the site to appeal to multiple demographic cohorts, such as families, millennials, and business professionals. Bayside Point will be a location for visitors of all ages. The various entertainment venues and open parks will be suitable for families, whereas the dining venues and San Diego's only rooftop beer garden will attract the millennial crowd. As for families, a third of travelers to San Diego come with their children. Places like SeaWorld and the world-famous San Diego Zoo attract families from around the globe, as will Bayside with its iconic Bayside Wheel and 6 acres of open park space. Downtown San Diego already attracts millennials as a place to live, work, and play. Within a 1-mile radius of Seaport Village, a quarter of residents are aged 25 to 34. Places like Little Italy and the Gaslamp District provide young adults with fun, hip venues and places to be seen. Bayside Point will be the new hottest destination in downtown San Diego. Bayside will also provide accommodations and entertainment for business professionals. In 2015, attendees of convention center events spent over $700 million on accommodations, dining, entertainment, and shopping. With plans in the pipeline for expansion of the center, this suggests a bright future for local retailers. In conclusion, Bayside Point will cater to the growing tourism industry, comprised of families, young adults, and business professionals, while concurrently attracting local San Diegans to enjoy all of its various amenities. I will now talk a little bit more about the various entertainment venues located on our site. Bayside Point will feature a 10,000 square foot museum, public open-air amphitheater, a local fisherman's market, and the 450-foot tall Bayside Wheel. The Bayside Fishermen's Museum will be constructed to honor the history of the area's Portuguese tuna fishermen and the historically significant canning industry in the bay. The open-air amphitheater will provide a venue for public entertainment, such as street performers, live music, art exhibitions, and seasonal festivals. Currently, the Tuna Harbor Dockside Market occurs every Saturday on the Tuna Harbor Pier. Locals and visitors alike rave about it being the only place in San Diego to get fresh fish directly from the hands of the fishermen who caught it. Our development will incorporate the market by enhancing the pier and its visibility throughout the site. The Bayside Wheel will tower 450 feet above our site, providing spectacular, unobstructed 360-degree views of the city and water. The addition of a well-lit wheel will enhance the city skyline and create a distinctive feature as iconic as the London Eye. Although there are other wheels located in California, these can only be found at carnival and theme parks such as the Santa Monica Pier and Disneyland. Bayside Point will host the first and only iconic observation wheel in California. Currently, plans are circulating regarding increased lighting of the Coronado Bridge. We plan to match this lighting scheme and create synergy between these two iconic San Diego landmarks. We have also considered potential opposition to the wheel. If the FAA resists, the wheel may be downsized. As proposed, it follows Coastal Commission guidelines and will not block views of surrounding neighboring properties. The wheel is financially feasible as well, resulting in a return on cost of 10.7%. It is no mystery, the Bayside Wheel will put Bayside Point on the map as an iconic, world-class destination. We will now discuss a little bit into detail the retail, restaurant, and parking uses of Bayside Point.
Test. There we go. After speaking with experienced retail brokers in downtown San Diego, we're confident that our 135,000 square foot retail mix will be adequately absorbed into the market. In the beginning of year 3, 2 years after construction, we expect to have 80% pre-leased and a stabilized 95% occupancy by the end of year 3. Visitor-serving retail shops will account for 77,000 square feet of our retail mix. Unit sizes range from 500 to 6,000 square feet, and we will obtain rental rates of $6 to $10.50 a foot, triple net. An additional 10,000 square feet on our site will be devoted to a maritime-related museum. This museum will showcase San Diego's vibrant fishing community and seafaring community as well. The remaining 48,000 square feet will be devoted to casual quick service and fine dining restaurants. Right off the bat, we notice a stark lack of outdoor patio dining establishments. San Diego's near perfect weather patterns, just like today, will complement our outdoor dining and 6 acres of open space, accounting for 43% of our entire site. Historically, San Diego is known for its avid fishing community, which prompted our goal to incorporate a wide array of local seafood menu items to the restaurants. Unit sizes will range from 500 to 8,000 square feet, and 2 8,000 square feet restaurants will serve as our anchor tenants. We'll obtain rental rates of $4 to $10.50 a foot, triple net. Total construction costs for our entire 135,000 square foot retail mix will total $41 million, and we'll receive an NOI in year 3 of $7.6 million and a stabilized NOI in year 4 of $10.6 million. I will now discuss parking. The San Diego Unified Port District required that we supply 1,480 parking stalls. Our 3 above-grade structures are situated on the northern perimeter of our site. We did this to ensure view corridors through Pacific Highway and Kettner Boulevard. And the reasons for this was to also minimize vehicular circulation within our project and allow as much open space closer to the bayfront to allow our guests to shop, dine, and relax. All 3 structures will be camouflaged with eye-pleasing facades that incorporate lush planters and public artwork. Parking structure 1 will be disguised into our hotel. It will sit 4 stories tall and have 410 stalls. Parking structure 2 will be sandwiched between Pacific Highway to the west and Kettner Boulevard to the east. It will have 820 stalls and sit 4 stories tall as well. The bottom floor of this parking structure will be devoted to the majority of our visitor-serving retail shops. And finally, our third parking structure will sit right between Kettner Boulevard to the west and the Manchester Grand Hyatt to the east. It'll be 2 stories and have 250 stalls. And we're excited to announce that above will sit San Diego's very first wine tasting and craft beer garden. There you see it. The total construction cost for all 3 structures will be $44.3 million, and we'll receive a net operating income of $10.2 million every year. We will now discuss our hotel.
Let's talk a little bit about our hotel proposal. So we propose a 4-star, 350-key hotel, which will include a combined observation deck and sky bar, a 30,000 square foot medium-sized event center, and multiple outdoor lounge areas. Please keep in mind that the hotel will also integrate with our retail shops and restaurants. So hotel occupancy rates in San Diego are at an increasing high, and what we're noticing is a 75.5% occupancy rate. Downtown San Diego magnifies this metric at 80.4%. Running through a hotel analysis, we wanted to consider the important economic factors that are driving these build-outs in downtown. So right now what we're looking at is a 3% increase per year in hotel supply, which matches in perfect equilibrium of about 3 to 4% in hotel demand. So what does that translate to? Well, it means that in the 5-year pipeline, what we have projected is a demand of 5,574 rooms. The supply pipeline counts for 5,267 rooms. So we have a differential of about 307 rooms. We wanted to capture this by creating our 350-room hotel. Hotel branding is incredibly important, especially in the downtown area. So what we realized was that we had a strategic opportunity to take advantage of. The hotel, W Hotel in downtown San Diego, has recently been sold and also closed as well. So what does the W Hotel have to do with our site? Well, the quality, amenity set, and ADR for this hotel align perfectly with our target market. We realize that we have an opportunity to take advantage of this hotel brand, and it will integrate well with our site, gearing towards millennials, however, incorporating the surrounding community. Our research supports that our target market will pay this ADR for these rooms, and that this will be a full-service waterfront hotel, which will satisfy the needs of these tourists in downtown San Diego. So this prominent brand also gives us credibility in securing financing for this hotel. Starwood Hotels and Resorts owns over 15 brands, and this boutique-style hotel has had a millennial-oriented image, which has been proven successful in many metropolitan markets in the United States. Achieving hotel construction is important because you have to take into consideration what the port is fearing based on a hotel build-out. And one of those fears is that it would impede traffic and would also slow down our development. So what we addressed was that we would phase our hotel build-out separately from our retail and restaurant and Ferris wheel. And by doing that, over 75% of our site could be open by year 2, and that extra year gap from year 2 to year 3 would finish that hotel build-out. So as you can see, we have some absorption in our uses prior to the hotel build-out. The hotel has also been strategically placed on the current Chesapeake Fish Company site, and that site takes advantage of some of the most breathtaking views of our Seaport Village site. We're now going to talk about the financial feasibility of our project.
All right, now let's look at our construction costs. We have a hotel cost of $129 million, a retail cost of $41 million, our Bayside wheel of $100 million, and our parking costs of $44 million, and with a site cost of $20 million, rounding off our total cost of $334 million. Now for our capital structure. We have a construction loan on the site of $191 million, with $120 allocated for our retail, a retail parking and Bayside wheel, which I'll be referring to as our retail portion, and $71 million allocated for our hotel. We will also have $39 million of mezzanine loan, with $20 allocated for our retail and $19 allocated for our hotel. And our $99 million of equity will be made up of developer sponsor money as well as private equity funds. And now for the lease up to stabilization. Our retail portion will be stabilized in year 4 with an NOI of $23.9 million, allowing us to get a permanent loan of $239 million, with our hotel stabilizing in year 6 with an NOI of $13.4 million, allowing us to obtain a permanent loan of $134 million, for a total stabilized loan on our site of $373 million, allowing us to retire our construction and mezzanine loan and return the remaining cash flows to our equity investors. Now for our ground lease payment for the port. We came up with this by using 10% of our gross revenue of our hotel, 25% payment of our gross rental revenue of our retail, giving us a grand total of $12.8 million annually, which is over 4 times what the port is currently receiving. After talking to industry experts, we realized a project of this size would require an IRR of over 30% to attract debt and equity investment. With that being said, here's what we came up with: a 16% unleveraged IRR, a 35% leveraged IRR, a 28% return to our equity partner, a 66% return for the developer, as well as a $142.5 million residual land value, totaling $233 per square foot.
I'd like to wrap up by saying thank you for the opportunity. We know that Bayside Point will integrate well into the downtown San Diego waterfront and will leave a legacy for years to come. This has been a dream to take part in this competition, and we've had a great time. Thank you.
How about another round for San Diego State? Great job, guys. Awesome. Before we bring on USD, our final group today, I want to point out that in our 5 years we've held this, several students have gotten jobs or internships after this event. In fact, I know of a couple who actually got hired the day of the event. So this year, to try to expand that, we have the students' resumes out on tables in the back. So if anybody sees anything here, likes what they see, feel free to get some contact information of any of these students. And without further ado, let's bring up USD.
Testing? Okay. Okay, before we get started today, we just want to go ahead and I want to introduce the team. So this is Lloyd, Hunter, Marissa, and Alan, and we're joined over there by the lovely Sean. It's probably some weird word choice, but we'll keep moving on. Before we dive into our project, we want to go ahead and thank all the amazing sponsors and our advisors for this opportunity. You guys made a lot of sacrifices for us to be up here today, and it has been a tremendous learning experience, and we are incredibly grateful. So let's go ahead and walk through our vision for the site. Throughout our presentation, we will be doing a virtual tour of the site, courtesy of our awesome architects at Ware Malcolm. So a brief overview of our scenario: we were tasked with the redevelopment of Seaport Village, an iconic 14-acre site along San Diego's waterfront. The site is owned by the port. We were given a 3.0 FAR, which amounts to about 1.83 million developable square feet, and this was the highest and best use competition.
So for the last 4 months, we've been in an intense development process. We have done our market research, we have talked to industry leaders, and we have envisioned what this site could be. Seaport Village is currently owned by the Port of San Diego, and it was important to align our vision with the vision of the port. One of our first steps was reading through the port's master plan, and through it we found 5 reoccurring themes, which we have labeled as the port's goals. The first theme is a unified waterfront. Our site will incorporate the bayfront as much as possible and offer views from every space. It was important to create a site that has the potential to become the most iconic destination in San Diego. The second goal was a pedestrian spine. Along the bayfront will be a promenade that connects all the way from the US Midway to the Hyatt and beyond. The third goal is improved transportation. Our main site entrance will be off Pacific Highway, and it will direct through traffic in a productive way. The fourth element is commercial fishing. A portion of the site is currently zoned for commercial fishing, and we're going to retain that aspect. The fifth and final goal is visitor serving. We wanted to create a site that has the potential to appeal to every age, demographic, and business and leisure tourists alike. So through identifying these 5 goals, as well as the developer's task of a highest and best use, we came up with the mission to maximize the revenue potential of the site while providing the community with the best benefit.
With such a special site downtown, and with its expansive bayfront views, we believe that it is extremely important to incorporate as much open space and community benefits as possible. As designed, Seaport will offer more than half the site as open space. A large portion of this will be dedicated to one of the largest public parks in downtown San Diego. Between a two-tiered park structure along the promenade as well as above our retail experience in our Sky Park, the park will be a little over 4 acres and similar in size to East Village Green. Along with this public park, we will incorporate an elevated walkway reminiscent of the New York High Line that we are calling the Flybridge to harp on our maritime and nautical theme running throughout our site. This elevated walkway will incorporate native vegetation as well as vendors. Additionally, recreational activities on our site will incorporate beach volleyball courts, bocce ball courts, fire pits, as well as the carousel we all know and love at the current Seaport Village. Additionally, overall, the site will create more than 15,000 jobs between construction and stabilized operations.
So as we all know, the current Seaport is a major tourism destination now, and the new Seaport will have a major hospitality aspect. In doing our market research, a few things we noticed right away was the extremely high occupancy rate downtown. It's stabilized at 78% currently, and coming from a retail background, 78% occupancy may not sound great, but in terms of hospitality, 78% is great. It's 13% above the national average. The second thing we noticed right off the bat was the leisure and business segment mix. The business segment is 63%, and the leisure segment is 37%. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to create an iconic hospitality destination in the heart of San Diego's waterfront. We wanted to make sure that we attracted both leisure and business travelers, and we wanted to make sure that this was a family destination, and finally we wanted to provide unique retail, recreation, and entertainment amenities. So this is our first hotel. It's the Lighthouse Hotel. This will become San Diego's premier business luxury hotel. The design is reminiscent of a modern-day lighthouse. If you can imagine driving down the 5 freeway, this is your far right or the far west side of the San Diego skyline. The second hotel and the third hotel are over here in phase 2. This hotel is called the Sail Resort. This will be San Diego's first family destination resort. It will become the major capture of the leisure department segment, excuse me. And this is our second hotel. This is the Seaport Hotel. Keeping in mind the port's goals, we really wanted to capture and make sure that we could make Seaport for everyone, and so we wanted to provide affordable hospitality accommodations.
So an amenity to both of these hotels will be an organic aquatic playground. Now you might be wondering, what is an organic aquatic playground? Is that a water park? Yes, it is a water park, but we didn't want to name it a water park because this is going to be naturally inspired and unique to San Diego. There's going to be cliffs to jump off of, there's going to be rock slides, and you can float down a lazy river as if you're in the jungle somewhere. This is going to further capture and create Seaport as a leisure destination. Seaport, or San Diego, is in the top 5 for leisure destinations in the US. So there's an uncaptured market here, and we believe that this amenity will create a further destination at Seaport.
So now we're going to talk about retail at Seaport. When you think of Seaport Village today, you probably think of small shops, the carousel, walking around outside in the sun. We wanted to make sure that we retained this element for Seaport. We looked into the market and we saw several driving demand factors. Convention center traffic is increasing. They're adding an extra 100,000 visitors in 2016 alone. And downtown population is expected to increase 90% between now and 2050, mostly bringing in young, affluent, urban millennials. After putting all these together, we settled on 180,000 square feet of shopping and 120,000 square feet of world-class food and dining experiences. Let me go ahead and start with the shopping. So as I mentioned, 40% of the downtown population currently are millennials. We wanted to cater to this market. We're starting with a large action sports flagship, think Volcom, San Diego, around 25,000 square feet, which will play off a very unique amenity that we'll get into a little bit later. Don't want to spoil any surprises. Next, we want to bring in 8 or so large inline tenants, big name brands, Anthropologie, Free People, Banana Republic, things millennials will identify with. The remainder will be filled up with smaller inline tenants at around 2,500 square feet per room. And these will be things, retailers you normally see on Abbott and Kinney, so Marine Layer, Scotch and Soda, alternative apparel, things that don't currently have a foothold in San Diego. The remainder will be rounded out with existing Seaport retail tenants, paying homage to the heritage of Seaport Village. Now for food and beverage. This site, with these amazing views, we could not turn down the opportunity to put in restaurants. We have added 5 world-class waterfront restaurants that we will believe will become the premier dining destinations in San Diego and hopefully all of Southern California. The next part of our food and beverage is something I'm very excited about. A lot of you might be familiar with, some of you might not, a new concept called Eataly. Now, what Eataly is, as they frame it, is the largest Italian supermarket in the world. It combines restaurants, food and beverage kiosks, as well as a bakery and a cooking class. They truly live by their motto of eat, shop, learn. This is part cultural experience, part dining experience, all around fun. Visitors will be able to walking inside and they'll feel like they're walking straight through the streets of a bustling Italian market. The Eataly concept has been extremely successful in both New York and Chicago, and we think will be a perfect fit for our site.
Next, I'm going to take you over to Tuna Harbor. This is a very exciting portion of our site. Many of you might not know, but the tuna industry used to be the 3rd largest industry in San Diego in the 1900s. It is currently not in that position anymore. However, San Diego is still home to 2 of the largest canned tuna companies. The purpose of this site is to restore, remember, and enjoy the tuna industry. To pay tribute to San Diego's history, we have incorporated a photo history museum within the site. We believe this is a great opportunity to connect the past to the present, as well as people who participated in this industry. Additionally, to the site, there's going to be open space market and cafe. This was inspired by the dockside pier that is held every Saturday, and we wanted to incorporate this into an everyday experience for locals and tourists. Additionally, within this site, there's going to be space allocated for blue tech startups.
In making this site as iconic as possible, we asked ourselves, what is downtown San Diego missing? And it became rather obvious quickly. A beach. San Diego's #1 tourist attraction is its beaches. And so we decided to build an urban beach. This beach will offer food and beverage amenities for visitors to enjoy underneath the San Diego sun. This beach will also offer cabanas to add a luxurious nature to this feature. Additionally, we think that this will be one of the most unique experiences for downtown San Diego and will complement another unparalleled feature of our site.
So as a lifetime surfer, I'm really excited to introduce this next part of our site. This is our active lagoon. Recent technological advances in the surf industry has made it possible for us to generate man-made ocean-like waves. These are not waves that you typically see at a wave house in San Diego. These are actual ocean waves that are surfable. On top of all this, this lagoon will also be just a clear, flat blue water for those of us who like to swim or snorkel or just stand up paddle.
Since San Diego is commonly known as the craft beer capital of the world, we thought what better way to take advantage of the 100 breweries that are in San Diego than with a beer garden. It'll be approximately 20,000 square feet, with 12,000 of that being outdoors, to take advantage of those expansive bay views. In addition to the beer garden, we have other amenities such as a bowling alley, such as a Lucky Strike, and a luxury movie theater. Other entertainment venues will include a nightclub atop our lighthouse tower. They'll have 360-degree views of the downtown skyline and the bay. Lastly, to take advantage of all the open space we have, we want to convert that space whenever the retail is closed for open-air concert venue to take advantage of those beautiful summer San Diego nights.
So with all these added amenities to the current Seaport Village, the #1 question is, how are you going to park it? Well, we have come up with a very creative and innovative solution that is cost-effective, as we are going to be using automated parking. Our site is going to require about 4,000 parking stalls, and 40% of these stalls are going to be allocated to automated parking. There's 2 main benefits to automated parking. The first is a 50% parking footprint reduction. The second is elimination of around 200 tons of CO2 emissions.
In terms of sustainability for our site, we will be completely dependent upon fuel cell technology. This will allow our site to be completely self-sustainable and will allow us to eliminate our dependence upon the power grid. We are also electing to enter into a power purchase agreement with Biofuels LLC, which is a locally based company that will provide net zero emissions power source for years to come.
And now to round out with our financials. Despite over 50% of our property containing open space and other extensive community benefits, we were able to reach a 10-year leveraged IRR of 31.92%. In addition to that, I want to point out a couple of things that we were not clear about with the judges the other day. First of which is our developer's cap rate, which is our return on cost from the first year of stabilized operations. We derived our 13.76% developer's cap rate from $102 million NOI in year 8, which is our first year of stabilized operations, over our $747 million total cost of our property, both of which include all land lease payments to the port. The other number I want to clarify is our port land value. At just under $194 million, at $317 per square foot, that includes not only a 10-year ground lease, but 7 years of percentage rent, totaling $323 million over 10 years.
So we're going to do one last fly through because we know that was fast. We hope that you enjoy our vision for the new Seaport. We feel it perfectly balances the goals of community benefit as well as financial returns for the port. We are excited to give you our final vision for Seaport, San Diego's most iconic waterfront destination. And before we surrender the stage, we want to take one last opportunity to thank all the judges and everyone who came out here to watch today, as well as our awesome advisors and all the sponsors you see on the board there. This has truly been an amazing learning experience. I cannot thank everyone enough. We are all there's a lot of gratitude across the board. So thank you, everyone.
Let's hear it for all three teams, USD, UCSD, and San Diego State. We're going to invite all three teams up here, please. And the judges will sequester and do what judges do in determining who wins the cup this year. This is the part of the program where we allow each of the three teams to ask one question to each of the other two teams regarding their project. So everybody's up here. Let's keep it no low blows. Keep it above the belt. Can you keep it safe? We have one microphone, or?
Yeah. Do you want?
We're still one microphone.
Do you have one in hands?
Someone's got one. So UCSD, first team up. Where's UCSD?
Right here.
Okay, there you go. First question from San Diego State to UCSD regarding your project.
Sure. Wait, so do we ask San Diego State?
San Diego State asking UCSD.
Oh, okay, cool. So anybody can answer, right? Just
Yeah, someone in the team, yeah.
All right. We can, everybody answer just one word. Go ahead. One word? Just kidding.
All right, our question for UCSD is how do you guys expect to attract debt and equity at a 19% leverage IRR?
Sure, thank you for that question. So if you dive into our pro forma analysis, you would notice that a lot of our numbers are very actually conservative. This is in tune with our advisor, Jack McGorry, who really does believe that it's not okay for a developer to overinflate their numbers at an extraordinary amount. Rather, we took this risk in our SWOT analysis, the systemic risk, and we input it into our pro forma in order to have a much lower IRR, but as it shows, a much more stable pro forma. Thank you.
Next question for UCSD from USD.
Oops. Moving around.
Oh, it's for them.
Yeah, you guys to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you anticipate filling the blue tech startup space you have, given that Manchester Pacific Gateway is also allocating a large space to blue tech startups?
Thank you for your question. So, as you heard earlier from Christina when she mentioned the Seaport Village, our site is a unique mix. We kind of integrated it with the Manchester Pacific or Navy Broadway complex. So we have a mix of 50,000 of square foot allocated to the Coast Guard, 50,000 allocated to the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, and another 30,000 for the Maritime Alliance, and another 20,000 really for kind of their own startup incubators. Now, I want to dive into why we chose this mix. So one of the highlights of the Maritime Industry Report of 2012 was that startups really wanted a place where they could collaborate with large public institutions and other clientele. And we thought this would be the perfect place for that incubation center because you have the Navy Broadway complex up to the north, and they wanted to bring the Coast Guard in and have offshore their kind of building requirements due to freeze the footprint, kind of have their education center come here, and so that they would be able to collaborate with these new tech startups and be able to learn and foster innovation. Then we have the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, which is a public institution, kind of giving that side of the spectrum. And then the Maritime Alliance to kind of head this and kind of collaborate all these startups together. So hope that answers your question.
Thank you, UCSD. Next on the hot seat is San Diego State. And the first question for San Diego State comes from USD.
Yeah, our question was kind of what comps did you guys see in the retail market that allowed you to underwrite your shopping space at $6 to $10 per square foot triple net?
Well, we based our retail price per square foot based off the current rent roll that Seaport generates. Anything close to 500 square feet was generating about $10.50 a square foot. And once you go up to around 3,000 square feet, it was generating about $5 to $6 a square foot. The new restaurants are currently charging $150 a square foot, but based on new restaurant comps around San Diego, we can adequately charge about $550, especially considering you're near the waterfront.
All right, so in your report, you mentioned that, or presentation, you mentioned that you guys wanted to connect to the Green Necklace, and you highlighted that your Green Necklace was right over your 3-story parking structure. So how does that really incorporate with the port's Green Necklace?
That parking structure is a 2-story structure, and the third is a rooftop green roof. So that's part of our park space, and it has part of our beer garden and wine garden up there as well.
See, we're getting a little more intense here as the questions go on. Last up is USD, and the first question for USD comes from UCSD.
I saw that you guys incorporated an urban beach on your site. What are you going to do with the current boat that's docked by the dock, and also the usage of the current place with?
I guess I can add on to that. So currently, we know Tuna Harbor is a very unique place with its commercial fishing, and it has their commercial fishing boats there. So how do you guys plan to incorporate, and kind of relocate those fishing boats?
So if you look at our site plan, the urban beach is actually removed from the promenade, and it's facing our water amenity, our big wave pool, so it won't interfere with the Tuna Harbor operations at all. The Tuna Harbor boats will still have full access to the pier and where they can park their boats. That is actually just currently land and retail space. So we added the water.
This question is to USD. You guys mentioned 3 hotels. There's currently 10 plus hotels around the waterfront, especially within a mile of our site. Just wanted to know how you estimated demand for 1,000 rooms hotel.
So yes, there is a lot of hotels in the San Diego market, but after doing research, we found 2 things that really stood out. The first was the business market, booming business market, and we found that the San Diego Convention Center is going to add, or is expecting to have an additional 100,000 attendees in the next couple of years, and that's the main driver behind the demand for the business hotel. And then the second was for the leisure segment. There's 2 main factors that drove that. The first was a new flight directly from Japan, which will increase Japanese travelers to San Diego. And the second was probably the biggest, is the 10 home-ported cruise ship lines, the Disney cruise ship lines that are being added over the next actually this year. And those are home-ported, so that means that passengers will be seeking accommodations before and after, instead of just sleeping on the boat. So that was our main drivers behind those.
Thanks for not turning this into a political debate. We will start Q&A with the audience. So if anybody has a question, please raise their hand, and Courtney will bring a microphone to you. This is the working mic. Questions? Anybody questions? Up, over here, back here.
Just wave technology. Hello? It's on. Hello? Okay. The wave technology that you spoke about for USD on your design, how much does that cost, and how will you fund that? It wasn't part of your financials.
Which aspect? All of it?
The wave. The wave? Yeah. Just the wave.
So the wave technology, we used comps such as WaveGarden in the UK, and our wave cost $10 million to build, and that's all in. And the WaveGarden was $13 million to build, so that was our direct comp on that. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
Next question. Right over here. Jim?
UCSD, your large structure, which I think is 40 stories or so, appeared to be blocking off the water. And if you look at all the Hyatts, everything else, they return, maintain the view corridors through the building. Please comment on why you chose that.
So if you, as Jenny mentioned, we do actually have a 80-foot boardwalk. We're not kind of butting right up against the waterfront, as you mentioned. And the second thing is that if you look at the orientation of the hotel, it actually doesn't block the Hyatt views, because the rooms are faced towards, I wish I had a map, but this way, and then our views are faced towards this way, and the Embassy Suites is faced towards this way. So we actually took that into account and made sure that our hotel was situated in a way that, one, incorporated Ryoko Park into our site, and 2, didn't block any substantial view corridors. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Right here in the middle. Right here, sorry.
For San Diego State. Hello? For San Diego State, the giant carousel that you're proposing, did you do any soil studies, and what are the risks of liquefaction under that, or any sinking under the weight of the carousel?
So for the NAIOP briefing, when we originally got this project assigned to us, we actually assumed no environmental cleanup costs or assessments. So that was a given. Sinking? So currently the Coastal Commission has a mandated bill coming out in the following years, which would add 5 feet of raised grading. So we took that into account in the construction of our Ferris wheel.
Other questions from the audience? Hard to see up here. Right over here.
This is a question for all of the teams. I noticed that none of you guys proposed any kind of residential use. Was that considered, and why did you guys decide that it wasn't going to be part of your best and final project?
Is that for any team?
Anybody who would like to ask.
We can start first. So the port, I guess I'll speak for everybody here. The port mandates that anything west or basically past the mean tide line, it has to be maritime related use. So that means no residential, because it has to be for the public trust doctrine. Yep. You guys?
No, he got it. Other questions? Right over here.
I believe the USD team had a concept called automated parking. Is that the one that? I was wondering if you could explain more about how automated parking works and particularly how it can lead to reduced CO2 emissions.
Okay, glad you asked. So for automated parking, it basically is a completely mechanized mechanism. So you basically just drive your car up onto a mechanical lift, and the automated parking structure does all the rest of the work. The advantage of it is it contributes up to 17 possible lead points, and in terms of the CO2 emissions, it comes from not having to drive and search for parking spaces. It also can reduce up to 50 tons of tire dust emissions, which are also harmful to the environment. And another additional benefit we touched upon is the increased space savings as well.
Any other questions? Right over
Wonder
here.
if any of the,
Oh, I'm sorry, over here.
wonder if any of the teams could address the potential impact of traffic circulation on your project in regards to the proposed expansion of the convention center and the potential for a downtown football stadium.
I'll pick USD
by the way,
for
I've
that
been
one.
to Seattle when there's been, I went to a Padres-Mariners game, and there was a monster truck rally at the football stadium, and it was a hot mess downtown.
So we did take in all this increased traffic into account. A lot of that will be filled by, as we build a lot of parking stalls, we have a lot of retail for increased visitors to enjoy. That is for sure. We also implemented into our site in our plan proposed stops for San Diego, and the 30-year plan has mentioned adding a gondola system, initially going to go from the bay to the Balboa Park. We want to propose, and it's been tossed around a little bit, of adding some stops in Seaport, maybe along the Midway, and the convention center as well, kind of unifying that waterfront, providing another way for visitors to get around. We'll also be providing natural gas shuttles, and our site is very walkable and close to 2 trolleys, so not everyone's going to have to drive. We hope that'll cut down on that as well.
For UCSD, oh, I'm so sorry. For I'll answer the previous questions. For UCSD, we, instead of building a lot of parking spaces to ingest traffic, we have proposed different methods of transportation, such as deco bikes. You can walk with the view corridors, and also we have free shuttles and nearby trolley stations that allows pedestrians to walk, to bike, instead of driving to Seaport Square or Seaport Village.
Did I see Ron with a question?
Yeah.
Or
There's currently a very aggressive percentage rent on the port, with the port at Seaport. Was that addressed in any of the proposals with the port?
Who's that?
Any other teams?
So in conversations with brokers, we've learned that this has been difficult for the port to attract tenants due to this percentage rent structure. And seeing as such, as the developer, we elected during our lease up and absorption, so the first 3 years of operations, to pay this percentage rent for our tenants. This is part of our larger absorption strategy. So then when the project has leased up and proved its value in 3 years, that tenants will be okay with paying this because we believe it will be some of the highest grossing and sought after retail in the country.
Is there anything for that? Yes, no.
Oh, I can, hold up. So for our team, we actually, same as USD, we did and our developers pro forma absorbed the percentage rent. Also want to highlight that the port has a minimum percentage rent guideline that we followed. For instance, that's 7% of room effective gross revenue, 3% of market gross revenue, 10% of parking revenue, and that's so on and so forth. Hope that answers your question.
I have a question for all three teams. We can start with San Diego State. You folks, you all had to spend considerable amount of hours on this project. This is something that's outside of your classes. This is your extracurricular time, I guess, if you will. So can you briefly tell us a little bit about how this project got together for you guys from the time that we had our first meeting with NAIOP introducing the project and kind of what transpired to get you to this point?
So between the 6 of us, we're all real estate majors at San Diego State, and we've worked closely together for about a year and a half, 2 years now. So we had pretty aligned up schedules, and following that briefing from that original NAIOP University Challenge meeting, we felt like we adequately had the time and the resources necessary to carry out the rest of the project.
How many hours do you think you spent on this?
In total, or I think I can break it up per week. I think per week, per week, I could see we probably spent between 12 and 15 hours.
Great.
Yeah, so it's a good question. Time's gone by fast. But yeah, like these guys said, we are all, most of us are, yeah, we are all real estate majors. We just clicked as a team right away, and it was really beneficial that we had a set time that we designated to meet. And yeah, I think about 12 to 15 hours sounds about right. Yeah, maybe more. The last couple weeks, maybe a lot more.
Or last night even, maybe?
So UCSD is a little bit different, where we have 3 urban studies and planning majors and 2 structural engineering majors, and our schedules just did not align at all, really. A few of us work, about 20, 23 hours a week, and the engineers have class in the evening. So we found ourselves meeting from like 8 to 1 in the morning a few times a week, and about 18 hours on the weekends. So in the past 3 weeks, I think we spent about 30 hours a week. And a lot of it was doing the renderings and the videos you saw in our presentation. That took a lot of time, and we did that ourselves. So it was a lot of sleepless nights, but it was definitely worth it.
Well, again, I want to congratulate the effort of all 3 teams. I think back to my senior year of college, and there's no way in hell I was close to prepared to even start anything like this at all. So great job. We do have time for some other questions before the judges are complete with the judging. Anybody else?
I'm sorry, this really isn't a question, it's just a comment. I'd like to thank very much those teams that came down to the waterfront and talked to the commercial fishermen. I'd also like to thank on behalf of the fishermen, those teams that made it a point to keep both Tuna Harbor as a commercial fishing harbor and the tuna dockside market, where last year we sold 100,000 pounds of fish, all from San Diego waters.
Thank you. Any more questions? Oh, right over here. Sorry, Courtney, you're on the run.
I think I'll kind of use UCSD and USD as references. They built out a lot more space than we did. And in comparison to their projects, we didn't utilize more of a built-out environment. So that could be a weakness. However, we saw it more of an opportunity going into it to create more leisure space for the public, which was what the port wanted. Could be a weakness, but we saw it as an opportunity and as a strength.
So there are a couple on our site that we think that could use improvement. One being, if you actually you can't you really see too well. But we close off the park a little bit from off Kettner, and I think that's one thing. If we open it up, that'd be a little bit better. Secondly, our podium is about 40 feet tall and kind of shuts off OPH. We try to reduce that by creating a large staircase on the backside to try to greet OPH visitors and pull them into our site.
So I think one of the biggest weaknesses is kind of the parking, underground parking. It was pretty difficult to find the right balance between encouraging public transit and having enough spaces for San Diego, since we do know that San Diego is a large driving city.
That was a great question. Thank you. Any other questions? Right over here.
I was wondering what level of consideration you gave to public safety with how much both parking and alcohol-based development you'll be having.
Is that directed towards any particular team? You guys want to start with that one? Can you repeat the question, please?
So towards all teams, if you could address any public safety considerations you've had with both parking heavy as well as alcohol-based development.
Sure, thank you. As Jenny mentioned, our development is a very transit-oriented development. We have kind of the road diet, kind of the shrinking of the shrinking of the lanes to encourage visitors to use the Seaport Village trolley station. We also have the free ride. It's a very unique service. I would highly encourage anyone to use it in downtown San Diego. I guess just to plug them real fast, they're entirely free service and they're entirely sponsored by sponsorships, and they kind of help prevent any alcohol abuse on vehicles. Yep.
So in terms of that, we will incorporate natural gas-powered shuttles to take people who maybe had a little bit too much to drink to a more safer place, and we definitely encourage you to not drink and drive.
So to the best of my knowledge, the question was, how do we deal with this alcohol-based environment on our site and the incorporation of children with parking? So with our parking, we've designated that parking to the end of our site. We pushed it back. We wanted to kind of enclose that and have that, segregated in a way to allow an open space for children, for families, for millennials. As far as the alcohol use, what we thought was creative was to put it on top of our green roof, and that segregated that use to kind of separate it from some of the other things going on our site, which we felt was strategic in a way that kind of allowed people to pick and choose what they wanted to do on our site.
I think the delegates are on their second ballot up there. I don't see anything going on up there. So, and I can't sing and dance, so please. Yes, sir, Scott.
Sure. So let me try to answer all your questions, and you can tell me if I don't. So one, our parking cost for below grade was $50,000 per stall. That included any water quality issues that comes up with underground parking in order for us to treat and filter the water. Let me try to think. What was the second part? Water table, right. The water table was given to us by NAIOP in one of the 10 questions at 9 feet. And so we took that to the construction, the construction from DPR that they gave to us. And we also did use that $50,000 per stall count to allocate for that bathtub construction that's required for any below the water table construction. Hope that answers your question.
Is Marshall Merrifield here? Marshall? We had the chairman of the Port Commission, hopefully to be here to talk a little bit about what's going on in the real world project that these students are proposing on. Any other questions? Bill Kavanaugh? Sorry. Just wait 1 minute. Cut that. Cut that. Cut that.
No, I was really impressed with all three teams. The work these guys put in is amazing, and the presentation delivery skills were fantastic. So, yeah, let's clap some more.
The bar is not open yet.
Sorry, guys, but it will be open.
Don't get excited, Bill.
Is there any aspect of your projects, now we're really killing time, that you guys you weren't able to fit in your 20 minutes that you want to just briefly mention? Any team? Starting right here.
In terms of sustainability, we also will incorporate gray water recapture. So what gray water recapture is any water that's non-potable or suitable for human consumption. So what this can be used for is for the irrigation for much of our open space. So this water is usually taken from bath water and like from laundry from our hotels and other uses, and it can be repurposed for the benefit. And with our site, we estimate that we can reduce our annual water consumption by as much as 5 million gallons.
Sure. If you guys see the pamphlet, there's a website that you guys can visit. I think that's one of the things that we could have highlighted more. There you can see the letters of intent. We have letters of intent and support from various groups such as the Shangri-La Hotel, the U.S. Coast Guard, the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, the Cohen Restaurant Group, just Maritime Alliance, just to name a few.
And some Seaport tenants.
And current Seaport tenants.
This is a little justification for our above-grade parking structures. We initially thought about doing underground and having 1,600 stalls, but we were advised by the past director of planning for the San Diego Economic Development Corporation that having such a low water table would be infeasible. And yes, there are other projects that have below-grade parking, but we were referred to the Convention Center Phase 2 and the Marriott expansion that both opted to have above-grade parking structures.
Does anybody want to talk about what they were doing through their senior years of college? Yeah, we got a microphone here, so. Any other questions? Anybody know a joke? Did either of you, nobody got class course credit for this, right? Or is this a? We did. Oh, so okay. Oh, so you're not volunteering your time. This is school. This is school for you guys. Okay. How about the public presentation part of this today? This is not something that you learn in school. You're learning about how to put all this stuff together, but not the presentation part. You want to just talk briefly about kind of how you prep for today or how you train for this? Are you pointing to them?
Them first.
Well, for us, we were all pretty much really nervous. We practiced a lot and practiced in front of a lot of different groups and got different feedback of what we should incorporate, what we shouldn't incorporate. And part of that was, I think, in the third week after our meeting with NAIOP, we tried to come up with a proposal and a presentation and present that to a group of people, real estate professionals, and they gave us feedback that basically helped us change the entire site to what it was today. So it was a lot of getting feedback and a lot of practicing. It's also a lot different up here because the lights are kind of just beaming down on you. But personally, I was a lot nervous before I got here than when I got on stage. So if anyone else wants to.
Well, as our team, I think we put a lot more time and effort into the Q&A session before this presentation. It's kind of tough to put yourself in the mindset of presenting in front of so many people. But once you get up here, working on this project for 3 to 4 months, you know it inside and out. It's just more so getting over the nerves of presenting to so many different people.
So a major portion of the San Diego State curricula focuses on public speaking and presenting and really honing in our presentation skills. We have numerous real estate courses in appraisal, from development to finance, where we do case studies on the regular in our time, and we're presenting these case studies multiple times throughout the year. And our team had pretty good synergy going into this already, so we did put a lot of time and effort. That's not to say we didn't, but I think that we had a really good background in public speaking prior to going into this.
Courtney just saved us. In the corner is Paul Guarini and Jesse, and who else, because I can't see Courtney? These guys are previous participants in this event. They are all employed in the industry. I'm going to put you guys on the hot seat right now by coming up and talking about how this affected your career search or your career, and kind of what you got away from this now that you've been a year or two out from it. So Paul, thanks for volunteering. Paul Guarini, UCSD, 2014, 2013.
You hear me? Okay, yeah, so we really ran out of things to say up here, huh? All right, I was not expecting this. Yeah, I went to UCSD, 4 years urban studies and planning, graduated in 2013, like I said, and let's see, I did the competition 2 years. First year we did it was Body Beautiful Car Wash, and we lost to SDSU. And then second year we came back with the downtown proposal. I believe it was Park G 9th, something right in that, where the courtyard is now, downtown. 9th and Market, thank you. And we did a big mixed-use proposal on that site, and luckily we won. And I was very fortunate enough to have Dennis Cruzon as a judge on the panel, and I must have said something right, because he came up after and offered a job, and we got to talking, and I wound up at Cruzon for 3 years, helping them out on the underwriting. So yeah, it was a good experience, obviously, and really, I think someone mentioned earlier, Chris Pascal said, that as a student, it was one of the best things that I had actually done, because it was real world experience. That's the thing, when you're in these courses, they're really theoretical, right? Teaching you, especially at UCSD, thank you. They're, okay, let's read through the zoning, let's plan a park or something to that nature. And then to get a real world experience of figuring out what does the market support and what are these rents, and having to figure that out as a student, that was real world experience, and that immediately translated into the workplace. So for these students, I know it was a lot of work, and congratulations to all of you guys for doing it and taking the time, and for all of you that will go into real estate, I think you'll see it immensely, how immensely that really helped you start your career. And this is now your community, so not only that, but welcome to NAIOP. These are your family members now, so get to know these people, because they will be your buddies for the rest of your life.
You're so great, Paul.
Paul, you're hired. You're MC next year. On that note, thank you. On that note, who's looking for a job? 3 teams up here. Who's looking for a job? Raise your hand. I am serious. Are you all, who's looking for a career in commercial real estate? Okay, this is your 15-second elevator pitch. Starting on this end. Tell us something about yourself.
Hi, my name is Marco Vaticano. I'm currently a commercial broker out in East County under the brokerage SDCRE. I love what I do, considering other opportunities, but I want to stick with commercial real estate. It's been a blessing to figure out a passion that I really like.
Hi, my name is Andrew Rosencrans. I was born and raised in Southern California. I'm currently planning to work with my father, but I'm open to potential opportunities in commercial real estate. Thank you.
I'm Scott Heavyside. I'm a construction engineering major at State, and I'm open to trying commercial development. That's why I kind of joined the team with these guys, to open my mind to it. I really enjoyed it, and I really learned a lot, so it seems like a good fit.
Hello, my name is Marissa Merchant. I'm a finance major, real estate minor at San Diego State, and I have accepted a position as an analyst with the strategic planning department of the Irvine Company in Newport Beach, starting in the summer.
Hi, my name is Jay Javed, graduating real estate major at San Diego State University. I see brokerage as my starting, that's like the first career I want, and then I see myself eventually ending up in real estate development.
Hi, my name is Dominic. I'm currently a senior at San Diego State. I'll be graduating in December. I'm currently looking for a summer internship, and then something that I could build into a job once I graduate in December.
I'm Sean. I'm a finance and real estate double major. I want to get into development. I'll be interning at Urban Housing Partners this summer.
My name's Hunter Ainsley. I'm a senior, and the judges are back. No, I currently am lucky enough to have employment lined up.
I'm Marissa Marsh. I'm a senior at USD. I've kind of had the lifelong goal to go into commercial real estate development. I currently have a summer job at Sotheby's this summer, but looking for employment opportunities afterwards.
Hi, my name is Gus Avarillo. I'm a real estate and finance double major. I have currently accepted a position with KPMG in their EVS department after graduation.
I'm Lloyd Hoppel. I'm a real estate and finance double major as well. I have one more semester after this current one, and I am lucky enough to have an internship lined up this summer and potential job opening through that same company.
Hi, I am Alan Glenn. I'm a senior graduating in May. I'm a double major in real estate and finance. I've had internships anywhere from research to brokerage to development, and even after this project, still want to do development.
My name is Jenny Sen, and I am a fourth year studying urban studies and planning at UCSD, minoring in biology. I'm interested in urban planning and design. Currently interning with City of Carlsbad, but looking for a job.
I'm Michelle Markowitz. I am also an urban studies and planning major, fourth year, and I'm also currently looking for a job in urban design or architecture.
My name is Christina Martinez. I'm an urban studies and planning major from UCSD. My background's a little different. I have an internship with a multifamily affordable housing developer, which I anticipate might stay in that field. So yeah, this was just to throw things in the mix and get me more experience, but doesn't mean I'm not open to other things.
Hi, I'm Nick Maldarelli. I'm a fourth year structural engineering major. I'm currently deciding between the Luskin School of Public Affairs at UCLA or the Blaustein School at Rutgers. I'm very interested in transportation planning, and I would love to find a reason to stay in San Diego for the summer.
Hello, I'm Albert. I'm currently a fourth year structural engineering major also, and I'll be continuing my studies as a PhD student at the University of California, San Diego in the structural engineering department.
Well done, guys, and sorry about that. Thank God you guys are back. Next up was American Idol, and we didn't have any talent in this room. So, Charlie Abby's going to come up and introduce our next step here.
Our lead judge is Mike McNerney. I'd like to bring Mike up to the podium.
I don't have the answers here, so you can't cheat off my paper. So what'd you guys think? Pretty awesome, huh? So I've had the good fortune of being involved in this since the beginning, and was previously involved with USC, UCLA, and every year we've stepped it up down here in San Diego, and I really appreciate the students and everybody from the industry and everything that you do to make this a great program. It's really, really fun to do. I enjoyed doing it. I learned just as much from the kids. They had some great ideas. This is a real project that's out there, and so hopefully some of the teams that are competing for that, maybe they'll get some good ideas from the students, and we'll see that. So what I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about each of the teams and focus on a few things that the judges thought that they did really well. This is a tough process, And so we hope this is a learning experience for the students and is not meant to, talk about things that they could have done better or whatever. We really want to focus on the positive aspects because they have a limited amount of time to do all this great work that you saw today. So let me start with San Diego State. We really like the observation wheel as an iconic idea. It's one of the things that, if you go to like Seattle and they've got the Space Needle or whatever it's called there in different places. And, San Diego doesn't have something like that you go, God, that's San Diego. And so whether it's an observation wheel or something, they had a really good idea of putting something out there on the point. So we really appreciated that. Their hotel analysis was really solid. I mean, they did a really good job sort of behind the scenes. What you guys didn't get to see is all the written work and the technical analysis and the market research that the teams did, and we thought San Diego State did a really good job on their hotel analysis. And their presentation today flowed really well. All the teams stepped up their game today from the presentation that the judges received yesterday, so kudos to all the teams on that. But we thought San Diego State had a nice flow to their presentation. So next, USD, they really had a creative use of activating the waterfront. I mean, this is a waterfront site that's important to the port. It's important to us as San Diegans, and we thought that they did a terrific job in that. They had some really out-of-the-box ideas, the Tuna Harbor deal, the urban beach. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to a urban beach? So we really thought they had some interesting ideas, and again, their written report that you guys didn't get to see was really well organized, and we really appreciated their work on their written report. UCSD, they really excelled in a lot of the phases. We thought their site was really planned very, very well. The way they laid the site out with the hotel, the Blue Tech, and the Fisherman's Wharf. We really liked the Blue Tech campus, something that the port would really like as well. The site flowed relatively well and had good view corridors out to the water, and it's really important. We're trying to get people, one of the things that San Diego hasn't done a very good job is get people to the water. And the port is really working hard to try to do that across the whole waterfront with the Embarcadero and so forth, and we thought that they did a terrific job on that. And then, their graphics and media presentation, I need some help, guys, on that. That was terrific, the way your presentation flowed today. So I thought all the teams did really well. I'd like just to have us all give them a round of applause one more time. So who's the winner? So it was close. It was really close. We had a lot of good debate about the pros and cons, and we have a scoring system. It's very well organized, and we try to look at it both from a financial, technical way of scoring it, as well as just all of us have experience in the industry, and what did we think was the overall best project. And so, for those of you who are American Idol fans, I'll play Ryan Seacrest. Kieran, dim the lights. Here we go. The winner this year of the 2016 NAIOP University Challenge is the University of California, San Diego.
This is a heavy trophy. I'll just put it down here so I don't break it. But thank you. I would like to thank NAIOP for this immense and tremendous learning opportunity. For instance, like the Blue Tech, before we started this, we didn't really know about San Diego's blue economy and the Blue Tech that is really authentic to San Diego. We really hope that the port or any future developer does continue this immense opportunity that San Diego has to offer in Blue Tech. And we'd like to thank NAIOP for that opportunity for us to learn about it. Thank you.
So I want to congratulate all three of the schools I hope you guys learned a lot. It's really a great effort that you guys put through. We really appreciate it. We appreciate everybody's attendance here today. It's time for food and drinks. Thanks for coming. Let's party.